It's an extremely hard stage. I would say, probably not in terms of difficulty or elevation, but in terms of what the riders feel and how they approach this stage. It's probably the hardest stage of the tour.
Hi, I'm Spencer Martin, along with Johan Bruyneel, and this is Outcomes. Outcomes is for informational and entertainment purposes only. Nothing in this podcast should be considered financial advice. Please gamble responsibly, and if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, seek help from a professional resource. Hosts and guests may have financial interest in the bets discussed. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
Everybody, welcome back to Outcomes. I'm Spencer Martin. I'm here with Johan Bruyneel. We're predicting stage 10 of the Tour de France, a tough stage through the Massif Central. The GC will be back. The GC battle will be back at the forefront. 165 kilometers long. I believe 4,500 meters of climbing, which is many feet, up and down all day, like 6 Cat 2 climbs, 7 climbs in total. Tough 3.3 kilometer long uphill finish. I'll list off the odds, and then we'll get Johan and I's take on who's going to win and how it's going to play out. Tadej Pogačar is the favorite at plus 200. Ben Healey plus 800. Jonas Vingegaard plus 1,000. Lenny Martinez plus 1,600. Romain Gregoire plus 1,600. Michael Storer plus 2,000. Nielsen Palace plus 2,200. It goes on and on. We'll call them out if we need to. And if you're confused by those numbers or how to bet in general, we have a partner, Next Bets. All you have to do is go to nxtbets.com/betoutcomes, and it will show you where you can bet where you live, and the best sign-up bonuses. So, like, for example, if you are in Colorado and you go to FanDuel and you open an account, you'll get $150 free with your first bet. Same with DraftKings. I highly recommend checking it out. But Johan, who is going to win the stage? Actually, the big question is, how is this going to play out? I think it's unclear whether it's Breakaway or Peloton.
It's very unclear. It's an extremely hard stage. I would say, probably not in terms of difficulty or elevation, but in terms of what the riders feel and how they approach this stage. This is probably the hardest stage of the tour in terms of mentally approaching this and the suffering they will go through. It's not the same like any mountain stage where you kind of know what you get. This is, there's 8 climbs, 7 of them are Cat 2 climbs. They're all between 3 and 5K. Not super steep, so it's kind of accessible to a lot of riders. And so it's going to be fireworks. It's the second important day of this Tour de France. We had the time trial. This is the second big appointment where finally it goes into the hills, not in the mountains yet. These are hills. They're not mountains. But incredibly hard. I mean,
you're going to get us drug into like geology debates now. Like the geology Reddit's going to be all over that.
Yeah. But it's possible there's a breakaway. I would have said for sure a breakaway if there were already a few decisive stages, hard stages behind us. If this stage, for example, is in the last week, it's for sure it's a breakaway. Now, with this being the first real uphill exam, I would say, I'm not sure. So I'm going to play it safe. And unfortunately, I have to repeat myself, but I'm picking Tadej Pogačar for the win at plus 200.
Yeah, I mean, we could sit here all day and debate whether that is a good pick or not. It's still unclear to me that I think these are ancient volcanoes, technically maybe mountains, but for all intents and purposes at this tour, these are hills because the mountain stages will be harder. You said something interesting too. I was saying like, well, isn't stage 18 harder? But you're saying this could be harder because everyone can, in theory, make it over these climbs. So there's no gruppetto forming. It's just kind of going to be chaos, and it's going to be nasty. Or I forget what Wigo said about the first part of this tour, but it will be that.
Doesn't he say gnarly?
No. What did he, dirty? No,
dirty.
I don't know.
Yeah, dirty. Yeah, something like
Someone
that.
who listens closer than us to our show can let us know. But it's not clear to me who's going to control this because UAE is banged up. Visma should not. Having said that, I'm not convinced that Visma won't get to the front and control this because in their mind, Jonas has a special creatine enzyme that makes him fatigue less than Tadej Pogačar, and they'll think, well, we got to make this race as hard as possible. I think if they do that, Tadej Pogačar wins. I think this is simple as Johan looking and saying, I'm getting Tadej Pogačar at plus 200 on a profile that maybe is the best profile you could draw up for Tadej Pogačar. So I think just don't overthink the situation and I'm going to take him as well at plus 200.
Yeah. Well, which profile is not good for him?
Well, isn't he bad in the high mountains, right?
Well,
Isn't that
I honestly don't know which races they've been watching last year and this year. People who say that, but it's true that for Pogačar, I think it's more in favor of Pogačar than in favor of Vingegaard, because he has that extra kick that Jonas doesn't seem to have on these stages. So normally, if it plays out between the whole favorites, Jonas will try to follow. He should actually start attacking already. I think he shouldn't. He has to start attacking. Pogačar is in a great situation. If he follows, there's not that many guys he has to follow. He just has to watch one guy, and maybe I would say Jurgensen. But is Jurgensen ever going to be in a position to attack when it's just Jonas and Tadej? So it's up to Jonas to attack, not Tadej, because if Tadej stays with Jonas, he wins.
Yeah, I guess you could didn't we say the same thing about Isaac Del Toro at the Giro, and then the stage 20 debacle happened? So I guess.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, in theory, you're right. He doesn't have to attack the rest of this race. And there's an individual time trial that's up a mountain. So you'd think that he will extend his lead on people like Matteo Jorgensen on that time trial. Let's say, though, that it's not a Peloton finish. Who else has a chance at this?
Mm-hmm. Difficult, on such a course. There's not that many riders who have the legs and the capacity to get in a breakaway and then make it to the finish. But I'm going to go. He's at plus 1600. Lenny Martinez from Bahrain Merida, or is Bahrain victorious? I think he's a guy who is a master in finding the right moves on certain days like this. He's lost already a lot of time. Started the tour really bad. Was something strange that happened on day one. He seems to have gotten into the rhythm. Has a good track record of stage wins from breakaways. I've been told, or I've read, that he also wants his objective is the polka dot jersey. Tomorrow is a great stage for somebody who chases the polka dot jersey, because there's many points. I've been told that he wants to get the polka dot jersey in honor of his grandfather, who's I think he's in his 90s now, in his 80s probably, Mariano Martinez. So Lenny Martinez's dad is Miguel Martinez, who was also a professional rider and was Olympic champion mountain bike. His granddad is Mariano Martinez, who won the polka dot jersey in the Tour de France. And apparently he has some health problems, and so he wants to get the polka dot jersey, so at least that his granddad can see his grandson winning the polka dot jersey. It would be a nice story.
Yeah, man, that's quite the cycling family. I love this pick. He's actually plus 1800 on FanDuel. I'm jealous that you came on the Zoom and picked him right away, claimed him especially for a Bastille Day twist. Like if you think a French rider is really going to go hard, I think the French riders are trying every day, though. It's the only thing that's wrong with that. But he's a world-class climber who's not in the GC because of problems he had. But he showed us like a few stages ago that he is strong. He was in that breakaway, was caught by UAE at the end of the stage, but strong rider, world-class climber, has won major stages recently at big stage races. So all those things point to, like, it's a very rare chance for a rider like that to not be in the GC, to have freedom to go. And also on the KOM, it's funny. I feel like we've talked so much about it. There's been so few KOM points so far that if Lenny Martinez wins the first two climbs of the day, he's in the KOM jersey already. And if he goes on to win the stage, he's going to be like triple the points of Tim Wellens, who's currently in the KOM jersey. So I love that pick. Since you picked it, I can't take it. Another one that I'm not going to overthink, though, Ben Healey, plus 800 on FanDuel. Like, if it's a breakaway, this guy is so good at breakaways. Like, I felt so silly I hadn't picked him the other day. EF is here with one goal. That's to get into breakaways and win stages. So they're going to put their They're going to probably put multiple people in that move. Ben Healey's very strong. There's very few riders actually that can win on this because this finish is so hard, and to stay ahead of a nervous peloton will be difficult. I'm going to go with Ben Healey.
Good one.
Well, let's take a quick break, Johan, and then we'll talk about the head-to-heads, which have been some of the most fun bets we've had so far. Everybody, this episode is brought to you by Hims. You might have noticed something about this Tour de France other than the riders are all incredibly fast on their bike, but some of the best riders in the world have something in common. Other than that, it's fantastic hair, and we may never be as fast as them, but it doesn't mean we can't all copy their incredible heads of hair with Hims. Hims makes it simple with doctor-trusted, clinically proven treatments like finasteride and minoxidil, which are shown to regrow hair in as little as 3 to 6 months. You can choose from chewable, spray, serums, whatever fits your routine best. And the best part, it's 100% online. No office visits, no awkward pharmacy pickups. Just answer a few questions and a licensed provider will determine if treatment is right for you. If it is, they'll ship it straight to your door discreetly and free of charge. No insurance needed. One low price covers everything: the treatment, the shipping, and the ongoing medical support. Join hundreds of thousands of guys who've already used Hims to regrow their hair and get your confidence back with a visibly thicker mop up there. Start your free visit online today at hims.com/themove. That's Hims, HIMS.com/themove, spelled out THEMOVE, for your personalized hair loss treatment options. Results vary based on studies of topical and oral minoxidil and finasteride. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. All right, back to the show. All right, so we're back. This actually was wrong today because Pogačar finished one spot ahead of Vingegaard.
No.
I think the fun is over on that. But it's Pogačar minus
Spencer,
450.
Before we get into head-to-heads, I would also like to recommend, just in case, Jonas Vingegaard 125 for the podium. Because if it's not a breakaway, it's going to be between Pogačar and Jonas, and Jonas will almost sure be on the podium. So positive odds, I think, are interesting.
I'm gonna co-sign this one. I'm taking this one too. I like this a lot because it's basically a way to bet: will the breakaway win? Will the breakaway stay away or not? Because Vingegaard will finish on the podium if the breakaway is not away, and even if, like, let's say Lenny Martinez stays away and Pogačar second, Vingegaard's going to be third. So I'm going to pick that too at plus 125. But the book does not like Jonas Vingegaard's chances against Tadej Pogačar, because on FanDuel it's Pogačar minus 450 versus Jonas Vingegaard plus 300.
Yeah. Well, the only way Jonas gets in front of Tadej, if there's a breakaway and they can't get rid of each other and the bonifications are gone and they just roll into the finish, which is also unlikely to happen because I still think that Tadej will try to drop Jonas on that climb, even if the break is gone.
Yeah.
So, with the minus 450, I would just not do that.
You would not do it. You're passing.
Yeah.
Okay. Mateusz Skelmoza minus 186 versus Primož Roglič plus 138. It's a pretty interesting one.
I mean, Primož is going to have to at some point get his stuff together, no?
Yeah, and he's healthy though. I mean, that's the thing about everyone's written him off. He's not fallen. He looks skinny. Like, no,
he doesn't look. No.
You don't think so?
No. He looks heavier than normal, Spencer.
Yeah, I saw him today. I thought, man, it's a skinny person.
He looks, from the back, I personally think he looks heavier than normal. I mean, I may be wrong. Maybe it's the change of uniform. Maybe it's the white shirt and the blue shorts. But anyways, he's still Primož Roglič.
It's crazy. He's the underdog.
Let's go for Roglič.
Okay, I kind of can't believe he's the underdog in this. Even in his diminished state or malaise, whatever is going on with him. Julian Alaphilippe minus 120 versus Nielsen Palace minus 110.
I kind of think this is difficult because if they're not in the break, which they might be both in the break.
Yeah.
But if they're not in the break, it's difficult to say because they're not going to push. They're not going to push it to the finish. So, who's the favorite here?
Julian. But the thing is, today Nielsen Powell's finishes on the same time as the winner. Alaphilippe is 6 minutes back. I mean, that's a level of sitting up that's extreme commitment to sitting up.
Well, it's not just sitting up. You got caught in the crosswinds,
which would, yeah.
He was in the back, Yeah, let's go for Alaphilippe. But still, he's going to be motivated. Yeah.
Adam Yates minus 126 versus Simon Yates minus 108. We should do this every day, by the way.
I'll do Adam.
I think Adam is the right choice, right? Because he is going to be needed at the front more.
Yeah, he's very
Simon Yates.
Very needed. Yeah.
Enric Mas minus 140 versus Carlos Rodriguez plus 106. This is hard. This is really hard.
Yeah. Enric Mas.
I think Enric Mas is way fitter than Carlos Rodriguez. Or just
Carlos, something's not right with Carlos Rodriguez.
Yeah, I agree. To lose as much time as he's lost already. It's funny you say this is the first significant GC day, and then I think Primož Roglič lost 31 seconds 2 stages ago on not even a mountains, on like borderline, not even a hilly stage. It's kind of unbelievable. But we'll see how it goes, Johan. Anything else you want to add before we take off?
Not all right.
We will not be back tomorrow. I'm all messed up because we're recording on a Sunday, but we will not be back on Monday. We'll be back on the rest day to predict stage 10, which happens after the rest day.
Stage 11.
Stage 11. This is stage 10. Holy smokes. I hope I said that right in the intro. But yeah, we'll be back to stage 11 is actually super interesting. There's a little teaser there. So make sure you check in on the rest day to hear our prediction for that.
Okay. Thanks, Spencer.
All right. Bye.